Hello all, welcome to Excel training. Today we are going to look at one of the useful lookup functions called offset. Okay, so let's see what is the syntax of it and how to use offset. So offset is again one of the lookup functions where you can extract data from a database. How you use VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP or index. Offset also works the same way to extract data from a set of database. Okay, so let's look at how offset works. Let's say I have this database where I have some sales representatives and the sales performed by each and every representative in a particular region. Okay, so let's look at a scenario. Let's say I want to extract data for Bini, how much sales Bini has performed in North region is what I'm going to uh, extract. Okay, so let's take equals to offset, offset of. Uh, there are three mandatory parameters here and two optional parameters. Okay, so let's see what are those. First thing is your reference. Okay, so reference is a cell reference, a starting point from where you are actually starting from for your offset. Okay, so it will always be most of the times it will be top of the database from where you try to navigate towards down or towards left or whatever. So I take A2 as my starting point. That's where I'm going to start, and from there I just navigate here and there. So offset is all about navigating, right, from a particular position, how many rows you are navigating and how many columns you are navigating to extract a set of data or a data corresponding to whatever your inputs. Okay, now A2 is my reference, that's my starting point, comma, number of rows to navigate. From here, how many rows should I navigate to reach to a point where Bini exists? Okay, so Bini is something which I'm looking for. So from this position, I have to navigate 1, 2, 3, and 4 rows down to reach to a position where Bini exists. Okay, so I give a 4 here such that virtually your cursor will navigate from here to here. That's Bini. Okay, now how many columns to navigate from the existing position now to reach north? That because I want to extract north sales. So from here, you have to navigate 1, 2, and 3, three columns to the right to reach to the position and extract the value of 70. That's the sales of Bini from north region. So I give a 3 here. So offset reference A2, how many rows to navigate? 4 to reach Bini. How many columns to navigate to reach north? 3 columns. So 4 comma 3, close bracket, enter. It says 70. Okay. So this is kind of a very basic offset function where we hard code everything. Okay, now let's say I change this north to east or something. Okay, but my formula will not update obviously because I have hard coded. Okay, so I'll have to establish relationships between this formula and this cell, that is your sales representative, and this cell, that is your region. Okay, such that I'll have to automate these two parameters. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Now, first parameter is this. You start from A2 and how many rows to navigate is dependent on this cell, right? If this cell says Joe, then you'll have to navigate 2 rows down. If it says Sandy, you have to navigate 3 rows down. So based on whatever input you specify here, based on that, your rows parameter should change accordingly. So we have seen match function in detail in our previous videos. So using match function, we can actually automate, or you can replace a number uh, with a function by linking this number with the cell value. Okay, so let's write match function here. So match of what's the lookup value? This is my lookup value. Bini is what I'm looking at. And what's the lookup array? My lookup array should start from A3 from here till how much ever data is present. Okay. As this match function returns the position of any item which you are looking for. So my Bini is in fourth position. So I have to start from here and it says fourth, your match will give you the corresponding 4. So I close this and it's an exact match condition, so close, enter. Right now, if I change this Winnie to Sandy, it will change to 67, which is Sandy sales in North region, and I change this to Mike, it changes accordingly. So fine, that this parameter I've automated. Same way, I'll have to automate this parameter as well. I'll just have to write one more match function. So instead of 3, now I say match of my lookup value is east, comma, my lookup array will start from B2, so B2 to E2. So that's my lookup array, and it's an exact match, of course. So close, enter. So now it's Mike, and East sales performed by Mike in East region is 50. And let's say I'll have to create a drop down. So I do data validation here, all DL, instead of any value, I say list, and I will simply give a set of values here such that that becomes a drop down. I can select any value and the dashboard changes accordingly. So I'll do the same for my region as well. So instead of any value, I say list, and source, I just select here east to. So I have another video for data validation, so you can just check it out for creating drop downs and how to use data validation. So this is how east, west, north, south, all the regions come up, and this is how all the uh, sales representatives come. So this is a bit of dashboard where you can create something like this. So you change these two parameters. Based on that, you extract the data accordingly. So how we perform VLOOKUP, same way we can extract data here as well. So the same thing can be achieved using VLOOKUP also and offset also. But the power of offset comes when you have to extract multiple values from your dashboard or your database, right? So your VLOOKUP can only extract one value at a time from your database, but using offset, you can extract multiple values using these other two parameters, that is height and width. Okay, so let's look into that as well. Let's say I want to uh, take, or I want to calculate the total sales performed by one representative called Winnie. Okay, so let's take this. I'll again take Winnie. So I'm calculating total sales performed by Winnie. Okay, so I can say equals to offset, right? Reference. So this will be my reference. I start from there, A2, comma, how many rows to navigate to reach Winnie? I can even hard code, or I can write a formula called match function. So match of Winnie, and the array starts from here to here. Yes, and it's an exact match, close, enter. So that will give you number of rows to navigate. Now, number of columns to navigate. Okay, let's say this match function inside offset will return me a 4 because my Binny stands at 4th position. Okay, now to calculate the total sales performed by Binny, first I'll have to navigate one column to the right, and then I can take the entire array, right? So for to calculate the total sales performed by any sales representative, you will have to navigate one column to the right first. Okay, so number of columns to navigate should be 1. Okay, you can afford to hard code it because it's always 1 for any representative you take, right? Even for Joe, to calculate the entire sales, I'll have to navigate one column to the right first and then take the entire data. So 1, I am hard coding. Now next comes these two parameters called height and width. Okay, so you can compare this height and width columns to a matrix in mathematics, right? So matrix refers to 3 by 1 matrix, 4 by 1 matrix, 5 by 1 matrix, and so on. Okay, so in this case, height refers to the number of rows you are including in the matrix, and width refers to how many columns you are including in the matrix. Okay, now let's say if I say 1 by 4 matrix, that means one row and 4 columns, right? If I say 4 by 1, that is 4 rows, 1 column, right? So that's how your matrix works. Same way, here to calculate one particular representative's total sales, I'm dealing with only one row. I'll have to deal with only one row. So my height will remain 1. And what will be my width? My width will be 4 because there are 4 columns here. So it will be a 1 by 4 matrix. One row, 4 columns is what I'm going to take. So 1 comma 4. 1 is your height and 4 will be your width. Correct? So once again, your offset A2 is the starting point. Your mat function will give you the position of Binny, that is 4. From there, I have to navigate one column to the right. That means your virtual cursor will be here. From there, I'll have to capture 1 by 4 matrix. One row, 4 columns. That's it. So I close this, but here if you observe, I'm trying to extract multiple values within a single function, right? Whenever you're trying to extract multiple values within one function, your Excel cannot display all those values, right? An Excel cell can only display one value at a time. It cannot display multiple values at a time. So even if I press enter here, it will give you the first item in the array which you are extracting. I'm extracting the array like this. It can give you any item, in fact, any item in this array. It is giving you 91, but how to cross check this? I'll have to go here and press F9, or even I can go to formulas and say calculate now. See here, you are actually extracting the uh, desired result, that is uh, 4 values which I'm trying to say 93, 35, 70 and 90, but it cannot display all these values at a time. So I do a control Z and enter, it will only give you one value in that array, but I don't want only one value. I just want to take the total sales performed by Binny. So what I can specify, I can specify a sum function on top of my offset and close this such that it will actually sum the total of items which is extracting, which is getting extracted. So sum of, this is my entire reference. So I again do a calculate now to cross check. So sum of, it will take this all the items and it will give you the sum of the entire data. That's how you get this 289. Right? So that's how offset is powerful. So using VLOOKUP, we only extract one value at a time, but using offset, I'm trying to extract multiple values at a time. Okay. Now, if you see here, math function, we have made it dynamic. The number of rows to navigate becomes dynamic. So I can even change this to any other name and it still works fine. Okay. But only thing here is, okay, rows parameter is automated. That is fine. Number of columns to navigate remains one, as I discussed. It will be always one column to the right. You have to come first to select the entire matrix. So this need not be automated. And if you are calculating the total sales for one representative, your height will always be 1. Now the main thing is to calculate the width, right? Now in this case, you have only 4 columns. You give a 4. Let's say tomorrow I will be having one more column. Let's say I do a control R and let's say matrix. One more column and I just change this value, something like this. Okay. Now I want to even take this column into consideration. Every time my data expands towards the right, okay, I will have to make sure that even those columns are getting calculated, those data also getting included in my uh, formula. Okay, now in this case 235 is nothing but only these 4 columns, not this column. Okay, now how to automate this parameter, that is the last parameter, width. Okay, now instead of 4 I can write another function which will give you the count of number of columns present in my database. Okay, so you can achieve that using count function. Count is a function which will count the numerical data, how many occurrences of numerical data present in my array. So I use a function called count function, count of what I'll take any one row, entire row. Okay, say this or any row you can take because all rows contains the same set of data. So I'll take this count of 4th row. Okay, so that will give you the number of occurrences of numerical data present in this total data or data set. Okay, in this case it is only 5, so it will give you 5. Do not consider this because this is not numerical data, so I've taken it that way. Enter. Now you get 315. Okay, now even if you delete this, I just say for Sandy, I'll delete this, your formula gets updated. um, so I'm looking for Joe, I'm sorry, so I'll have to delete for Joe. So I'll delete for Joe and it's 235, right? So whatever it is. If you add another value here, it will take update accordingly. So I'm looking for Joe. So that is how dynamic your offset function is. Even when you start learning macros, okay, offset function will be really useful because uh, in macros, it's always the case that you have to start from one particular point and navigate towards the right, down, left, or whatever it is. So when navigation comes into picture, offset will come into picture. So very useful function in Excel, offset function. See you next class.